Another form of protection that can be used is a quota. A quota is a limit on the number of things that are allowed into the country. Now there's two different ways to show the effects of a quota. Start with this one. If you're familiar with the tariff diagram, essentially you're using the same diagram. So let's run through the logic. Stuff is coming in from overseas at the world price. The world price is below our equilibrium price. Because it's below our equilibrium price, only OQ1 will be produced by domestic suppliers. In this marketplace, Q1, Q2 will be coming in from overseas. The object of the quota is to try and limit the number coming in from overseas. Unlike the tariff, instead of changing the price and it having an effect on quantity, you go the other way around. So what you're actually doing is you start by limiting the number that can come into the country. So instead of allowing licenses or whatever for Q1, Q2, you restrict that. So you show it by moving it in to say Q3, Q4. This much was allowed into the country, now this much is allowed into the country. This quantity here is the fixed quota. What happens as a result of that? Well, what you're doing to those goods coming in from overseas is that you end up, by your restriction on quantity, increasing the world price from WP to WP1. Restrict the quantity, forces the price higher. Now another way you can look at a quota, same but different, is you can look at it in terms of just looking at the supply of the imported product. Now, in a normal marketplace, we buy the imported product, and S would represent the supply of the imported product. That equilibrium price there would be the price of the imports as they come into Australia. Okay, what happens if we limit the amount coming in, and that limit coming in is less than what's coming in at the moment? So this is how many are coming in at the moment. Let's reduce that. Let's make the quota an amount which is less than what's coming in at the moment. Okay, the effect that will have is that wherever you actually implement that quota, beyond that point, supply will be non-responsive to price. So in fact, what's going to happen is it will go perfectly inelastic. So your supply of imports, don't forget, will now follow that line to the quota level, and beyond that point, non-responsive to price. Okay, what are the overall effects? Quantity cannot increase past here, because that's the limit that the government's put on. But the effect on price, the selling price of the imports in the marketplace would have been OP. Okay, so it would have been that. But because you've now put this quota in place, the new equilibrium level for price is at the higher price of OP1. There's your increase in the world price. Either way, it shows the same thing.